All right, let's do a quick mic check. I think it might be on the low side. Definitely on the low side. All righty. There we go. All set. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm Michelle. Welcome. Hello. All righty. How's everybody doing today? Hope everyone's having a great day. I am just going to grab my palette real quick. I did not have time to put that out yet. Alrighty. I feel like I had this set up a little better last time. I don't know. Yep, that's not good. Hmm. I swear I had something about this setup was different last time and just kind of worked better. I don't know what. Oh well. Hey, Cassandra, welcome. You can do your homework while I paint? Nice. What kind of homework you got? I'm assuming painting homework. Drawing a dog to transfer and then paint. Nice. Hey, Zan, welcome. How you doing? We're not used to transferring, but that's how we're doing it. Yeah. I've done the transferring thing. It's not my favorite. It's very tedious. How you doing, Zan? Good to see you. Do you have transfer paper or do you have to like build your own transfer paper? You've got tracing paper and charcoal, you'll make it work. Yeah, you can do it with regular paper as well. It's not exactly difficult. I've never used like proper carbon paper. Dan says, I'm doing a practice too. Mine is in gouache, and you're trying an approach you hope will make it a bit faster. Uh, to a good, faster to a good finish. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I am practicing again because I'm hosting the Portrait Artist of the Year paint along next weekend. So I wanted to, practice a little more. Before I do anything, I need a drink real quick. Oh, man, my camera is struggling today. Everyone's arting together. Yeah, it's nice. Hopefully, everyone will art together next weekend too. Wait, it's next weekend, right? Did I get my dates mixed up? Uh, Notion calendar. Yeah, next weekend on the 9th. Um, Hopefully everyone will art together there then as well. And we can have a lot of participants in the portrait artist paint of the year paint along. All right. So let's see. Let's see how much I can get done today. I went a little bigger than last time. There's 11 by 14. Alrighty. But I made it easier on myself. I'm going with a guy. So easier subject to paint. Harder surface though. So we'll see. It's a mix of qualities here. So yeah, just doing a quick portrait today. That's the idea. I actually felt like I got a lot out of last week, the portrait I did last stream. So I wanted to do another one, but because I have a little bit more time today, I decided to go a little larger. And as far as the paint I'm using right now, I'm just using leftovers from the other day. Not, yeah, I'm just using whatever's left over at the moment to lay in the painting. Some people are real uptight about that. So far, I've not found it to make a huge difference as long as I'm not using just straight up phthalo blue. Everything else is fine. Just straight up phthalo blue, not fine. It's too overpowering and it starts, it makes it hard to paint anything not blue. It starts making everything a shade of blue, so. Uh, oh, Cassandra says my cat insists on sitting on my lap while I do drawing, so I'm using him as a table. Lucky. I I love it when Dresden sits on me when I'm working, but he doesn't do it as much anymore. He used to do it more, but he got big and I think it's just too uncomfortable for him. If I ever visit, I'll end up with a cat on me. Nice. That's definitely incentive to come visit. I love cuddly cats. Dresden will sit on me and is cuddly. He just not all the time, just not all the time. And like I said, when I work, I feel like it's too much, too uncomfortable, so he won't. But he'll sleep on me while I play Elden Ring. How can my cat sleep on me when I'm cursing the TV? I mean, I've gotten pretty good at Elden Ring. There's that. I have one character that I'm trying to take to 100% stats, and I'm trying to take him to to new game +7. Right now I'm on new game +5 or 4. I can't remember. And I have like 2 other characters that I beat it with, I think. I'm building another one right now, getting ready for the what's it called? The DLC. And I have another character, which we'll see if I stick with it because it's kind of a grind. But I'm trying to do one character. What's it called? Um, uh, Rune level 1. Just straight up, no leveling. Do you play without armor? One of my friends is a glutton for. I don't play without armor. I play with armor. Uh, Michelle says, I wish our kitties used to cuddle more. Dresden cuddles with Liad, more with Liad than he does with me. Misu only wants attention from Liad. It's true. Um, when he does want attention, yeah, she's cuddly with everybody, but on her terms for sure. Oh, you're waiting for the DLC to watch your partner play? Why don't you play? I can't wait for the DLC. So looking forward to it. I'm so excited. Yeah. You don't like games where you learn by death? Isn't that all games that you like? I mean, well, not all games. I guess not all games you can die in them, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a real fun game. I actually was looking at what is it? Crab Souls, the crab game that's like a Souls-like game. Yeah. Oh, with the exception of Hades. Hades is a fun game. I beat that a few times. I don't think I got super far in that. Like I didn't get to like I didn't beat it at +8 or something like that, but it was a fun game. The crab game is fun to watch. I tried not to watch too much of it because I'm debating if I want to buy it and play it or not. It's like 30 bucks, which is, not bad at all. I just don't know that I have the time for it. But yeah, I'd probably enjoy it. Probably. I don't know. I beat Dark Souls 3. I haven't beaten Dark Souls 1 yet. It was really janky, so I'm not sure. Like I'll get back to it and beat it at some point. I haven't beaten it yet. I really need to go back to Sekiro and give that another attempt. At the time, the whole blocking thing wasn't for me, but after Lies of P, I think I'll give Sekiro another shot because I went from Elden Ring, which was my first Souls-like, to Sekiro, which I think may have been a mistake. Um, but yeah, Lies of P, I beat that 3 times as well because I wanted to get all 3 endings and 100% the game. Lies of P was good. So like I said, I think I'll try Sekiro again since you have to block a lot more in Lies of P. Um, the thing that I don't like about Sekiro is I don't like the system, the warning system that they have, where they like warn you what the attack is about to be, and you have to use a certain type of block. Um, something about something about that confuses my brain. It's like it actually the visual warning actually makes it harder for me because my brain's trying, I think, to process like what the visuals are trying to tell me or something, and I actually struggle to like because of that. I think it's because it's like reading, and I'm dyslexic, and so it's like my brain's like I don't know, had a hard time with that. But maybe after Lies of P, it'll be an easier game for me. Who knows? But yeah, the crab one looks like it might be fun. So I don't know. You said you watched people play it? I started watching someone play the Crab Souls, but I was worried that it would give too much away if I did buy it, so I didn't want to keep watching it. All right, let's put in some color. Well, wait, before I do that, let me get my brush so I can put in some color. It's kind of an important factor to adding color. Let's see. You knew what Cassandra says. I knew it wasn't going to be a game I'd play, and uh, and I liked the streamers. Okay, that's cool. I'm trying something new with my brushes right now. I'm keeping my brushes submerged in mineral oil, which is a non-drying oil, um, and is not good to get in your paintings. So what I do is I I squeegee out all the mineral oil, and then I wash my brushes in Gamsol before I start painting. So it's kind of funny because it's like it's almost like I'm washing my brushes before I paint versus after, because after I paint, I I just kind of take all the color out and then I just drop them in the oil. These are not like very expensive brushes. These are brushes that I've already used for a while, so I was like, I'll try it on these brushes. Not saying they're bad brushes, just that, you know. Hey, camera, back up a little. Jeez. Let's see. Cassandra says, I generally am more a game of wit kind of person as opposed to fighting intense games. You often get brought in to help with puzzles and games. Oh, okay. I mean, puzzles, it kind of depend, are kind of the, it kind of depends. Some puzzle games are great, some I hate. Um, but what's it called? Fighting, it also depends. Like, I consider Souls games like it's intense fighting, but it's also very much like learning, you have to learn the attacks and everything, and it's like a like dance puzzle type of thing. You panic in fights and just die. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Crap, I didn't realize I need to put out more yellow. How has my yellow search been going? It hasn't been going. I think, um, and I haven't found any good results. Although some experiments I've done on my own time have kind of led me to conclude that I might have been overthinking it just a little bit. So for the time being, once I finish this cadmium lemon, my primary yellow I think is going to be bismuth yellow until I can find anything better. Yeah, I think bismuth yellow just has a little more range um, than the lemon, but it's very, very subtle. And if I find something better, I will let everyone know. But so far, it is the best I've found. I might buy a couple tubes of different paints here and there to try out. I don't know. And then I'm very curious about a particular quinacridone rose. Williamsburg makes a quinacridone rose that they call quinacridone red, but it uses the rose pigment, the PV19, not PR202. And the thing that gets me about it is in the I need way more paint. This texture is just soaking up the paint. The what's it called? In their marketing for it, they actually throw shade at other companies, which I've never seen that before. They're like, most companies call this you call this rose, which means that they're diluting a vibrant pigment. And I'm like, so yours is better because you're not diluting it? And it's just like, I've never heard any paint company do that before. So I'm so curious, but it's literally twice the price as my current, uh, you know, quinacridone rose. I'm like, is it really worth, you know, double? And is it actually going to fill the space? Because it looks more red than rose. And I'm using rose instead of magenta essentially because it's better than magenta. So I don't know. And it's like $30 just to try it. I don't like trying things I don't like spending $30 on a tube of paint just to find out that it's either not as useful because it doesn't fit the role I need, or it's just slightly more pigmented and, whatever. How small of a tube do they sell? They sell the regular small tubes, like the 37 or 40 or whatever it is. Just the normal ones. Yeah, it's Williamsburg, quinacridone red. It's so weird. And I don't like if the thing that I'm curious about is if it comes out of the tube mass tone more red than my quinacridone rose, but in mixes it acts like my rose, that would actually be an amazing paint. I would totally spend extra for that because then that helps the range. That actually gives me more range. And I would love that, but I'm not really clear on if it's going to do that or not. So it's a little frustrating. I should be getting my interference colors this week. I don't know that I'll have time to mess with them because I have so much going on this week, but yeah, we'll be getting them. So looking forward to that. What am I going to try them on first? I mean, first I'm just going to do experiments. Literally just mess around with them. I'm curious what happens when they, you know, mix with other colors and stuff like that. Trying them on dry stuff is like doable. Like if I were to, you know, either try it on either an existing painting or just like make a sample thing, I can do that. But I'm really curious what happens when they actually mix with regular paint. I'm not sure about that. Michelle has some acrylic interference paints, but I don't think that they're like I don't think they're the same because they say that they're pearlized, so I think they're adding like white to it or something. I don't know. I'm really not sure how I'm going to use them yet. I have some ideas. My ideas are like using them in high key paintings or single tone paintings or single value paintings. Um, and then in like very dark paintings to add a bright contrasty area. Those are like my ideas right now of how I can use them because they work really well in dark areas. But depending on how they mix with each other and they mix with the what's it called, the regular paint might change. Yeah, I don't know. I might buy like an Indian um yellow, but not the PY83 Indian yellow. Some manufacturers make it with different pigments. So I might buy one of those just so that I can try it and compare. Um, Depending on how much it is. I don't want to waste money though on like paint I don't think I'm actually going to use. I don't know. I really wish paint manufacturers let you buy samples. I don't know. Although I will say this, if I buy paint and I'm like super disappointed with it, I'm going to try calling the manufacturers and see if they'll give me like a refund because I'm tired of this. I got a tube of paint. I got some paints where I was just like, man, this is almost like this is really I think almost a bad tube of paint. Like it's so bad to use. So I don't know. Like not just like I don't like the color, but like I bought a tube of paint and when I go to push the paint out, the bottom part starts to unravel. So I have to like squeeze it from the bottom up to make sure that it doesn't open up from the back. Okay, I am not loving this this canvas I'm working on. It's driving me crazy. I like smoother than this apparently. Even though this is actually a great surface to work on, this is the Centurion linen oil primed pads. It's actually a really good surface to work on, but I like smoother than this. So, you know, I'm pretty sure I'm waiting on a piece of plastic, ABS plastic that I ordered. After I try out that piece of ABS plastic, I will make my decision, and I'm either going to be painting on plastic or I'm going to be painting on um, aluminum composite panels. Because I found like not a paint, a plastic manufacturer that will sell me the like Diabond type of you know panels for a really good price, and then I just have to cut them up. But like if you do the, I did the math, and it's the per panel cost is just so much cheaper than anything else. So, so yeah. Do I have a paint squeezer key tool? Yeah, I do. I do. I have a paint squeezer, which I highly recommend everyone who paints a lot buy. And I recommend this one, this style, the kind with the handle. I had the one that didn't have the handle, and it's just like a square. Far inferior to the handle one. This one's just a little bit more, not much more. Do not get the cheapest one you can get either. If you get the like super cheap square one, it's just going to like dig into your hand and not really do what you want it to do. So yeah, that's my recommendation on that. I also bought some empty tubes as well. So I have some empty tubes waiting in the wind if any tube ever breaks or anything. You have the little key that you just twist. Yeah, I wasn't sure about those ones. I because it looked like maybe I misunderstood it. Those ones looked like they're supposed to stay on the tube or something. I don't know. When I bought it, I wasn't sure what I was like. I didn't know which ones to get. I was just looking online. That seemed like the thing to buy. I first bought the square one, and that one I hate it. It just digs into my hand. Like it literally hurts to use, and it doesn't like you hold it from the back end and you try and twist, and it wants to constantly like move in your hand and like wriggle out of your hand because it doesn't have a good way of gripping it. So yeah, there are better ones that are square that might be easier to hold or better, whatever. But I really think the big handle one is probably the way to go. It's a little more expensive, but I'm like, unless I lose it or use it in self-defense, like I'm probably going to have this for like a couple decades, at minimum, because like what's going to happen to it? Oh, the little twisty ones leave a space so you can slot them in and out. Interesting. I didn't know that. I thought you just had to leave it on there the whole time. How do I think it'd work for self-defense? I feel like you could get one good throw out of it. It's kind of heavy. Metal. I think one good throw. Or maybe, like maybe. It wouldn't be my first go-to, that's for sure. But yeah, it's sturdy. But definitely wouldn't be my first go-to. Zan's a self-defense. So yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Maybe it's just because we've been watching a lot of Bones lately. They always have to find uh, creative ways where how people like end up dying. That's what the Studio Katana is for. I have one of those as well. Also, honestly, like the my I know this sounds weird, but the stool that I have, the like it's just got this really solid base because it's built to rock back and forth and just like yeah, if I swing that at anybody, they better move. Yeah, I am really getting frustrated with this texture nonsense. I know people love texture in their surfaces, but jeez, I just want the paint to move. I don't want all this. Andrew says I hate texture. Yeah, I'm really not a fan. I like smoother surfaces. I'm really curious what the plastic is going to be like. I'm so curious what it's going to be like to paint on plastic. You sand your gesso until it's literally a little shiny. I can't. I hate sanding my I hate dealing with that. Zan says, someone take this crappy brush out of my hand. I keep mixing color with it, and then it's all filled with paint. You go right back to painting. It's like painting with a dog brush. Put the brush down. Just put the brush down. You, Remind me, Cassandra, do you paint with oils, right? If I'm not mistaken, you paint with oils. Uh, Cassandra said I did too until I found out I could have been wet sanding this whole time. You got auto modded. I'll allow it though. You're an acrylic painter. You're a filthy acrylic user. Yeah. I mean, I will to the credit of acrylics, right? They have some. There's definitely a lot of advantages to acrylics. There's a lot of cool things in acrylics. Um, you I've seen some really great acrylic artists who get like a ton of really cool like texture and brush strokes and everything in their painting, and it's just like, oh, it's so good. Some of that would be really hard to do with oils because it'd all be dry by the time, I mean, it'd all be wet, and so you'd have to wait for it to dry and all that. Um, but uh, the issue is the thing about acrylic is that I don't have an issue with uh anyone using acrylics, and I don't think that using acrylics makes um, I don't think paintings done in acrylic versus oils are inferior in any way or whatever. But my question is, how do you not throw your paintings on the floor constantly out of frustration using it? That's what I don't understand. It's like it's so gross to use. I hate it. I've painted in acrylics and I'm just like, I can't stand this. Why am I torturing myself? Zan says the fending brush is out of sight. Good. Um, Sandra says you like your slow drying acrylics. Lungs don't dig a lot of the kit that come along with oils. I don't know what you're talking about. You don't need any. Acrylics are more dangerous with fumes than oils if you do it right. You spent 2 years being specifically trained to paint only in acrylics, so you don't know any different. Okay. Yeah, you literally don't need anything with fumes to paint with oils. There are some there are some things that are helpful. Like I do have a little bit of Gamsol that I use. But like it's in an airtight container, right? I open it up to clean my brush before I started painting, and then I closed it again. And that was it. And I'll tell you, and you must be, I'm not going to say like so, that will not bother me. That won't bother 99% of people. Having it open for the less than a minute it took me to swish my brush around in it. But and that's literally the only solvents that go in my entire painting process. That was it. On the other side, um, I have had acrylic paints. Uh, I I put down like um, I used a particular like a acrylic medium, not the one I normally use, but a different one, and it off gassed and made me sick for like 2 days. And I didn't even realize it because I didn't have much of a sense of smell back then, so I couldn't really tell. Yeah, I don't know what folks with using the last painting class I was at, but it was bad. Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry. Yeah, it happens. But like I said, so you even and the stuff that off gassed even had the like little AP on it claiming that it's safe. But yeah, so you got to be careful with some of that stuff. And, but at least with oils, like I know, you know what I mean? Like I know what has solvents in it and what doesn't. I know what I have to watch out for and what I, don't. Alrighty. You're drinking your second cup of coffee and it's divine. Thank you for making it. You're welcome. Glad you're enjoying the coffee. All right, time for the fun part. As if the whole thing isn't fun. I really like painting, so it's all fun. But this is one of the funnest parts to me. The brayer. I like using the brayer. Yes, I am. Okay, Michelle. Oh, no worries. Enjoy your game. Yeah, I am the coffee maker most of the time. We have like I did buy a maca pot and I really like using it, but most of the time we just use a drip coffee maker. You know. You're home, you're the coffee maker and because yours is made with love according to your partner. Interesting. I'm just better at lids. So that's why I'm usually the one who makes it. One of the reasons I like using the brayer is because I don't use solvent to thin out my paint and I don't do washes beforehand, using the brayer fills in a lot of the gaps when there's some uh, tooth to the canvas. It's not perfect, but it helps. We'll put it that way. Like I said, it's definitely not perfect, but it can help a bit with some of that. And then one thing I started doing recently was taking some of the like paint that I have on my palette and just putting in like sometimes the colors that are a little too, not too much or not entirely accurate, but just having like some random pops of color for later, you know, something to work off of. Usually it's a little larger than what I did today, but whatever. I'm kind of rushing through it today. One thing I hate about the brayer is trying to clean it. Oh my God. There's no good way of cleaning them. The ones that don't come off of this one doesn't come off easily. There's no like mechanism to take it off. Yeah. I mean, maybe I could force it off. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it. Alrighty. Let me just throw these paper towels away real quick. Oh shoot. All right. 1 second. I have to fill this with water. It's not empty, but it needs more water. So I keep my what's it called? My oily rags submerged in water uh, as a safety precaution. Because the thought is your oily rags can't spontaneously combust submerged in water. Pretty sure that's how that works. But I'm pretty sure I also have to throw this one out and start a new jar. I submerge it in, so I can show you. I submerge it in water with soap inside. But yeah, and just in some kind of airtight container. I'm really selling oil painting with the spontaneous combustion thing. Any oil soaked rags, that will happen. So if you do woodwork, if you do work around the house that requires, uh, oil and like if you're fixing something around the house and you want to, oil out the wood, or if you have a hobby and do woodwork, anything like that, any oily rags can spontaneously combust if it's drawing oil. And yeah, so you just need to, be a little safe with it. That's all. That is the one hidden danger that a lot of people aren't aware of. A lot of times people are afraid of oil painting because of the toxicity, which the pigments are all toxic across all mediums, so it doesn't matter. The solvents, which you don't have to use. I use a bit of Gamsol for convenience, but I don't use it in my painting process. But the hidden one is the spontaneous combustion that people are usually aren't aware of. But as long as you are, it's pretty easy to like deal with. All right. All right. Now I'm going to take a photo of this, and I'm gonna send that photo to my computer, and I'm gonna throw it into Photoshop real quick. So I'm gonna step out of frame for a second while I do that. Um, Dan says, same thought. Gee, I want to paint something that will burn me up in my sleep. That said, I would. I mean, you know, they all the mediums have their issues, right? Like there's not a perfect there's not a perfect medium out there. Some are less dangerous than others, although that is honestly debatable. It just kind of depends on what you consider the danger, right? I'm just picking though. Yeah, I know you're joking around, but I'm just saying, like, not in all honesty, it is one of those things I think more people should know about because so many people. I've seen people on Twitch who are, streamers who are painting in oils, and I'm like, hey, do you know about the spontaneous combustion issue? And they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And so um, I definitely think it's something that people need to be warned about. But at the same time, people think that because acrylic paints are water soluble, they think that acrylics are completely safe. And it's like, yeah, a lot, you can get cadmiums in acrylics as well, right? Like it's not, that's, and even some of the other colors, even if they're like not toxic, it's one of those things. It's like, it's not toxic to be around, but like it's probably toxic to eat, so like don't eat your paints. That's generally a motto of the channel. Don't eat your paints. So yeah, don't eat your paints, everybody, because most pigments are probably toxic to some degree. So don't eat your paints. But they think, just because it's what's it called? Just because it's water soluble, it's safe. I've heard that too with I've heard that with watercolors too. Oh, it's just gum arabic. It's fine. And it's like, yeah, you can get actually, watercolors and what is it? Pastels can be even more toxic than anything else, because uh, the toxic pigments are ground up even more fine than in other mediums. So um, they can actually absorb into your skin, because they're so fine. Or pastels, if it's the dry kind, you can just inhale the toxic dust, which I'm just like, why would you paint with that? But I yeah, I've never really understood pastels anyways. So let's see. 100% use CAD Red. Definitely don't want to eat your paints. Yeah, exactly. Uh, Sandra says pastels are terrible. Yeah, Vine charcoal irritates my lungs terribly. You just can't use it without a mask. Yeah, well, I hate all the I hate all the like pastels and charcoals and everything. Not because it gets in my lungs. Not I, I I just don't like it on my hands, and it's like dirty, and I can't, like, there's no way of using it, clean. I don't know. I hate it. It gets everywhere. I don't like it. Okay. It's rough, it's coarse, and it gets everywhere, and I hate it. A sensory nightmare, straight into the fire it goes. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I hate anything. Um, I hate anything where like I can't mix the paint really, and I have to rely on like a ton of colors. So like colored pencils, um, or like even soft pastels, stuff like that where you can't really mix. I get mixing. You can do visual mixing, which I'm a little more okay with. That's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I like being able to mix my paint, right? Like that. That's what I enjoy doing. I like mixing paint. Oh God, the layering and layering of colored pencils. And if you mess up, you can't erase or cover it up. Yeah. The only artist I've seen that uses colored pencils in a way um, that I find I might be interested in trying, and not surprisingly, is Nicholas Uribe, because his sensibility appeals to me. So that he doesn't use it in a very realistic way. He's not doing the layering and layering and layering, and so it's more appealing to me. And I have a paint. I have a color pencil drawing from like I think 15 years ago at this point. Um, that kind of is reminiscent of how he uses colored pencils. Very, very different, but like there are some similarities if you know what to look for. So his style speaks to my sensibilities because I'm a fan of his. His stuff speaks to my sensibilities, anyways. But that's not to say that I do want all the colored pencil artists out there to know that A, I think you're crazy. And B, some of the work that colored pencil artists produce is just ungodly amazing. Like it is shocking how like realistic and the range of color you can get and the depth, all these things that I'm like, I know when I pick them up, I'm like, I know this is way more capable in someone else's hands, but it definitely is not capable of doing any of that in my hands. So, having said that, I also think they're just all the color pencil artists out there. I think they're crazy and spending way too much time on every piece of artwork when they could just use paint. Sorry. I will say I wanted to go back to something that I was talking about before real quick. I had a person at art school who she would say that what's it called? Watercolors aren't, they're just watercolors, so it's fine. So what she would do is she would take her brush, she would clean her brush, and then she would wipe it off, and then she would take the brush and stick it in her mouth and use her lips to shape it because it's a round brush to shape it into a point. Don't do that. Watercolors can be toxic as well. Don't do that. That is stupid. Hey Don Lee, welcome. Good to see you. How you doing, man? Don Lee, throw out your what's it called? Your channel stuff. Feel free. Don Lee's a streamer. He streams on Twitch. It's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, everybody. I guess I'm gonna start. I'm gonna use this opportunity to promote. Because I forgot to. I have a workshop happening June 22nd. There's a link in the description on YouTube. I did not do one on Twitch because I'm bad. But it's on my website, liad.com. I'm pretty easy to find online. It's only $220 for a 4-week workshop about painting without fear and painting loosely and yeah, and kind of I guess in my style, but it's adapted. It's just the techniques. It's not about like painting in my style. It's about using these techniques to get the look you want. And then what else? Also, I'm on Kara or however you want to pronounce it. I'm on there now too. I'm still on Instagram, but like, let's be honest, Instagram sucks and has sucked for a long time. So I'm on Kara as well. There's Kara's what's it called? Servers are struggling a little right now, so I will update with more art as soon as it stops dying on me every time I try and use it, which I'm sure will be soon. And my Discord. Check out my Discord. It's a great way of keeping up with things. And last plug, uh, next weekend, June 9th, we are doing Portrait Artist of the Year Paint Along. It's a fun event, and viewer participation is encouraged. It is just for fun. It is not a serious competition, but you know, it's a lot of fun. Donley, I really hope you can join in this time. I know last time you were out of town when it happened, so if you can't, no problem. No worries. I understand, but I hope you can because you're really good at portrait painting quickly. I've seen you work. All right, so right now what I'm doing is I'm just comparing uh the mess I made to the what's it called? To the photo, and I'm seeing what things are off, where I need to like put in some little fixes and reposition things. I often have to reposition things a lot throughout my painting process. I say this when I was a kid, I could never really keep like coloring inside the lines. I was always bad at that for some reason. I don't know why. Um, but yeah. Also, I feel like I don't know about viewers, but personally, one thing I found in general is when I take the pressure, like there's weird, it's weird because there's different types of pressure. There's pressure to perform when there's viewers, but there's the pressure of like, oh, you got to get it right away. It has to be perfect the first time. That pressure never helped me. That's why like I never finished sketchbooks as a kid. I hated working in sketchbooks because I always felt like I felt the pressure of like, oh, this is permanent. I've literally never done a good drawing on the first page of a sketchbook ever in my life because of that. Um, so yeah, that pressure I'm not a fan of. So I've really taken it away when it comes to my painting process. My motto is no fear, but also uh, no pressure, and that's why there's no fear because I don't have to get it right the first time. It's okay if I don't. I'll fix it and I'll get it right later. You know. So yeah, that pressure to like get everything perfect in one go, I don't like that. I also generally, with a few exceptions, don't feel like it's accurate to most painting processes. Especially in oils, I should say. Oils are, without a doubt, the most forgiving medium uh, out there that isn't digital. Digital is possibly the most forgiving, but also digital has its issues, other issues. But yeah, oil painting is probably the most forgiving medium out there. I think acrylics might gouache second, acrylics third, maybe. I think. I think that's the order. Yeah, I really got the eyebrows off. The eyes were more on accurate, but the eyebrows, for some reason, I really didn't get them right. What have you been up to, Donley? And gotta step out for a bit. Wanted to say I'm enjoying how yours is going so far. I like this cloudy stage with the drawing coming back in. Yeah, I shared a whip of mine in Discord. Oh, nice. I'll check it out later when I'm like on a break or something. But thank you for sharing. I love seeing you guys' artwork. Um, yeah. And also I will point out, like, I'm really happy that you're painting and making artwork. I love the fact that people I hope that my encouragement has helped some people just actually get back to painting a little bit because I think everyone should do art. Like, you don't have to be a professional to do art. I'm not talking about you, Zan. I'm just in general. Like, I want people to make art because it's fun, not because they're, going to be professionals. I mean, if you're going to be a professional, great. But if not, great. Like, just do it because it's fun. It's enjoyable. I feel like people forgot that. And like, it's something that all kids know, but and people seem to have forgot that fact. Let's see. Sandra says, it took me so long to realize that art for art's sake is just as worthy. Absolutely. Absolutely. It really is. I I think that's fantastic to remember. It is. Like, it's worth keeping in mind that it is one of the most human things you can do, right? And it's one of the very unique things to humans. Um, there are some animals that get close because they do certain things, but it is so unique to humans, and it is one of the most like human things to do. And I really think people need to kind of just not worry about it so much as far as like, you know, like do like why they're doing it. Just do it to do it for art's sake. Exactly. Just going to do some quick palette maintenance here. Move things around a little. But yeah. And with AI coming into things, some people are like, I saw a commercial for AI where they're like, it will unlock your creativity. And, they showed like little kids using it to make, to make whatever story they wanted to, kind of thing. And I'm like, that is disgusting. Kids can already make whatever story they want. Kids can draw any story they want. They don't need to tell the computer to draw it for them and be limited to whatever the computer already ingested and it spits out in return. I that like grossed me out. I was just like, that's not creativity. Like, let kids just be creative on their own. They'll draw and make up every story or any story they want. No kid, I've never seen a kid who was like, I wanted to tell this story, but I couldn't draw it. That only comes as adults start putting like, their limitations on it and their judgments on the quality of it and so on. Until adults start doing that, no kid cares. And so just let kids be creative. They don't need AI to be creative. No one needs AI to be creative. AI is not creative. It just regurgitates. And I will say this, like, that is my advice about creativity, but like otherwise, generally speaking, don't take my advice about children. I do not know how to raise children, but I do know creativity. I'll say that. I went to an art collective the other day for a show, like a gallery show, and they're connected to like this wood making, this not wood making, but it's a place that uses wood to build all kinds of stuff. And I was looking at all the tools. I think they make like tables and stuff like that there. And I was looking at all the tools and I was just like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, I don't know how to do, I'm not good at woodworking. I actually took woodworking in high school, no, middle school, way, way, way back when. Um, but I'm not, I don't know how to do woodworking anything. And I was looking and I'm just like, that, I would love to like learn some of this stuff. I think it's always useful to know kind of thing. And once again, you can be so creative with that stuff. You can build so many cool things. Like there's ways of being creative that isn't painting. You don't have to paint. I say give it a try, give it a long try. It takes a while to get good, but if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. There's endless ways of doing cool, creative stuff out there. That's one of the things I've never done it because I feel weird doing it, but I do think it's really cool for other people is those like paint nights where they go to like a restaurant and they give them paints and everyone does like the same, you know, painting and everything. I think those are so cool. Years ago, I almost got a job doing that. I applied for, well, that's an exaggeration. I didn't almost get a job doing it. I applied for a job doing it and never heard back. That's not the same thing. But I tried. I just ended up getting other jobs, so I just never went into like interview for it or anything. But yeah, I think it's such a cool thing. I just I feel a little weird doing it myself. But otherwise, I think it's cool. Laura says, my sister used to run painting night. You'd go help her. That's awesome. Having said that, I could also see it being not the funnest, just depending on the people, but that's a separate issue, right? Like people are people. Hey, Des. By the way, I don't know if I said hi to you before. Welcome. How you doing? I'm out of yellow, so I can take a quick break. Put out more yellow, and I'll take this opportunity to do some back stretches. Sandra says, I've seen the ones where couples go in to paint uh, a diptych together. That's very cute. I've never seen that. That's cute. Uh, that says I've been here since before you started, but I've been attempting to load my stuff on Kara. The trouble is finding images on my PC. Uh, the that I don't know. I've had some issues with the app. It's been they've been the servers were struggling every time I've used it, which it's fine. Give them time; they'll figure it out. You can just download your images off of your Instagram and then upload them. You can do that too if it's a problem. All right. Michelle says, "Eep, that sounds like a huge undertaking." What sounds like a huge undertaking? Just so you know, there's about a 30 to 40-second delay on YouTube chat between the time that like you type it and it gets to me kind of thing. So you gotta kind of add context sometimes. Loading all their images into car. I see. The thing I do like about Kara, well, there's a few things I like about it. I like that they're like not going to train you know, they're not going to train an AI on your stuff. I do like that. And I like that they partnered up with the Glaze project. I like that a lot. But the other thing I like about Kara a lot is you can upload your stuff and use it kind of like Instagram. It seems kind of like an Instagram slash Twitter kind of platform, maybe Threads and Twitter and Instagram type of platform. But you can also take it and turn your gallery into a portfolio website. So if you want to have a easy portfolio website and that you can exclude, and that's the other thing, you can show and exclude images from your portfolio website. So you can post images of your, if you want to take food, shots of your dinner, you can post that, but not have that in your portfolio. And I think that is fantastic for artists. So I'm a fan. The only thing that's really, the two things is they don't have good servers or enough servers yet. And, if they don't get enough traction, it's not going to turn into anything. Cassandra says, yeah, I'd much rather be on an imperfect platform that cares than one that is actively predatory. I agree. But you don't know if people looking to buy art will be on Kara. Correct. However, I will say this. If all the artists are on Kara, first of all, artists buy artwork. They don't buy expensive artwork, but they buy artwork. But then the people who would buy art are going to go to where the artists are. The people that will buy expensive art, I should say. Oh, shoot. Sorry. I'm trying to get my, bought a new fan and I'm trying to get it to like blow properly. But yeah, that's always the problem with new platforms. By the way, worth mentioning, because we know that what's it called? Meta is training on our data. They supposedly have a way for you to opt out, but let's be honest, it's probably bullshit. Nightshade. You can run Nightshade on any image. It doesn't have to be a painting, it can be a photo. I'm just saying, run some of your images through Nightshade and post them. That's all. That's I think everyone should. I wish I could run well, I have tried running a lot of images through Nightshade, and it's imperfect, unfortunately. Certain types of artwork really don't look good through Glaze and Nightshade, but most look fine. So, just a thought, just putting it out there. If you're not happy with predatory training, you can always run Nightshade on your images. Oh, Cassandra, there is a local a gallery art thing that you can apply for small work. If you have any work that's 8 by 10 or smaller and you want to get it into a group show, you can. Today is the last day to apply for it, but yeah, you should. You can do that if you want. Michelle can send you the information. It's a small local group show thing. It's at the Art Collective, but it's something to do. Today's the last day to do it, though. Unfortunately, I didn't know about it earlier. Otherwise, I would have mentioned it earlier. Yes, Michelle, the small canvas show. I would recommend it to more people, but it's very much a local thing. So it's only Austin people. Send it to her on Discord. Yeah, that's a general statement, but anyone who's doing artwork and I really recommend getting out there, uh, applying to like local small shows. It doesn't have to be anything large. Um, People do all kinds of stuff. We just found out that there's an art collective here in Austin that they have like art night, like painting nights, and it's just a place that you can go and like paint with, or not even paint, you can do any kind of artwork and just hang out with other artists. I'm like, this is so cool. I didn't even know this was here until yesterday. So, these things are out there, but you don't always know about it. So just try and get out there more. Art collectives are great starting spaces, group shows, stuff like that. Yeah. I need to do more of that. It's definitely difficult. I'm not saying like, oh, it's so easy, but it's hard to find the time to do anything in life. But, you know, just have it on your radar and start slowly. You'll get there. Now, I've been to tons of shows where I'm like, the artwork isn't really that great, but, you know, um, it doesn't matter, right? Like someone might find it great, it might appeal to someone else. And you never know what kind of collab options will come out of it. Some of the people there are doing like woodwork and doing 3D printing and all kinds of stuff. Thanks for the links, Michelle. Is there any interference from my fan, by the way? Like, is there a wind sound or anything? No? Okay. Good, good. When I look at the indicator thing, it doesn't look like it, but you never know. Sometimes the indicator is a little misleading. Like you think everything should be sounding good, and it's like, nah, it sounds like trash. I'm not gonna worry too much about the like sweatshirt he's wearing, but I just want to get the basics of it in before I start using my smaller brush is the thing. Uh, Not that I can't switch back and won't, but you know what I mean. Sandra says, I just looked at my painting rails, and yeah, I don't think I've got anything I could submit. Okay, uh, fair enough. I don't have a ton of small work, but I think I've got like one or two that are 8 by 10s that I can submit. Next time. Yeah, next time. You know, now that we know the collective is there, something to keep an eye on. Oh, this is a very side note type of thing, but we watched Fall Guy recently. Thanks, Don Lee, by the way. And yeah, it was a really good movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's not a very serious movie, but it's a lot of fun and a lot of really good, what's it called? A really solid filmmaking uh, devices in it. Like they did a really good job of that, which a lot of movies fail at today. So yeah, I absolutely want to, would say totally worth watching. Whether or not you want to pay to watch it until it's, available for free, different story. Um, you know, but it was a good movie, so I do recommend it. Also, I didn't realize that it was based off of an old TV show. I'd actually watched the TV show, reruns, of course, but I'd watched the TV show back in the day. Um, but I didn't make the connection until later, later in the movie. It says it was kind of mocking itself, which I appreciate in so many movie references. Yeah, it had a ton of movie references. It didn't take itself too seriously. But there was also like a lot of really solid filmmaking things where they like set up things in advance and there's a payoff. Like that happened repeatedly on numerous things. So often in movies, they don't even bother with that anymore. There's really good like structure and movie making done there. Just like basic stuff that isn't always, you know, prioritized anymore. So yeah, I appreciated that. I don't want to say what because that will be giving things away, but there were so many things that were like mentioned at one point, and then there's a payoff to why it was even mentioned. There wasn't a lot of just like empty chatter for no reason. It either built character or it set things up for later. Like, you know, these are the like foundations of good movie making. And I'm not going to sit here and or stand here and say I'm the biggest movie expert, but I do work in storyboards and I have put in some effort into learn some things about storytelling in that medium so that I can properly, convey those things. Yeah. Once again, I'm not going to claim that I'm like the biggest expert in the world. I'm not, but a little bit, a little bit. I have a little knowledge on this subject. Alrighty, starting to kind of come together. I will say this one thing about oils. If I'm comparing oils to acrylics, one thing I will say is like the reason that oil paint it gets if you get a little bit of oil paint, it gets everywhere is because unlike acrylics, it doesn't set immediately. So if you get a little on your hand, it's wet and it's going to stay that way for hours at you know at minimum. Um, whereas acrylics, if you get acrylics, regular acrylics, not open acrylics, if you get regular acrylics on you, within a couple minutes it sets. So whatever it sets on might be ruined, but it's at least not going to keep spreading everywhere. It's amazing how much a little paint will go as far as like getting everywhere. It really doesn't take a lot to just keep getting on everything. So one of the things I really want to try today is not only do I want to get the likeness down, I also want to add a little bit of, want to add more uh, style or stylization to this painting than I got to last time. It is very difficult to do that in a like short time frame, and um, one thing that I think is maybe not clear all the time, but on a lot of the paintings I do where there's like a lot of um, you know, a lot of, we'll just call it stylization for lack of a better term. Um, I'm very careful about the pictures that I choose because not all pictures, you know, lend themselves to that. And I tried to pick a photo today that would be closer to like what a, you know, what a simple, straight up like figure painting pose would be. Because like the, what's it called? In Portrait Artists of the Year, they actually don't do a good job of lighting the sitters. They light them for TV, they light them for an audience on all sides. They don't light them for an interesting painting. So I tried to find photo reference today that would kind of match their aesthetic so that I can try and bring more out of it. Because it's a lot more work to do that, to like bring out more, you know, aesthetics or aspects out of the painting that might not be ap- apparent on first glance. So everything is very wet right now. So putting down paint is a little challenging. And the way to deal with that, generally speaking, is you either wipe off some of the paint, which is a great system, absolutely viable, or you load up your brush with more paint, or you get a firm brush and you kind of scrub in and you very much like mix on the painting surface, which is a viable way of working, although it is very difficult and not, I don't know that I'd recommend it for uh, new painters because it can produce very mushy and dirty uh, paintings. Why? I I don't understand what's happening. The batteries in my earbuds are dying so much faster all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on. It used to not be this way. The magic of old battery. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I've had these for that long. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, don't know what I'll do. Don't really feel like buying new ones, you know, but I do use them a lot. So I don't know. I wonder how long the batteries are like supposed to last. Trying to think how long I've had these. All right, quick break time. I need more water and I need to charge my earbuds for a minute. So, quick break time. A bathroom break too, if everyone needs it. We'll be right back. Alrighty. Because getting the likeness perfect is less important to me compared to like when I'm doing portrait artist of the year. Uh, and because I think it doesn't make for a good, what's it called? For a good stream. I'm not going to take another photo and put it into Photoshop and all that, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. Got my water out here. Okay, I got my water now. So exact likeness, whatever. Alrighty. All right, back to large brush. So one thing I started doing, I've talked about this before, I talk about a lot of the same stuff over and over again. So the people who have been here for a while and are always here, I apologize. But, there's not that much new when it comes to painting. Like it's a lot of the same. And also you never know when someone is listening for the first time and so on. But yeah. Um, but yeah, what I was going to say is, oh my God, now I shouldn't have said the caveat because now I forgot what I was going to say. Um, yeah. Oh well, it'll come back to me. I will say this, generally speaking, use the largest brush. The advice is to use the largest brush you can for as long as you can. That is always, I think, really good advice. It does help the painting stay cohesive. It helps the structure of everything, and it prevents you from going into the details too much and so on. Oh, I do remember what I was going to say. The eyes. I I started doing this thing where I don't paint in the eyes at the beginning anymore. I kind of leave them for the end. Um, I and I'm talking about the detail. Obviously, he has eyes, but really getting in there and doing the detail and everything. That I leave all that for the end for a few reasons. Um, I did hear that Sargent did it that way. I don't know if that's true, but really the reason is if you construct everything properly, the eyes can just kind of go into place. If you put the eyes in and the rest of the structure isn't correct, and you're constantly trying to remake everything to make it all fit, you're wasting time and effort, and it's probably not going to look all that good either. So it's just easier to like finish them off towards the end. You know, something I just thought of. If you want to practice painting hair, either get reference with either dark hair that's very well lit or stick to light hair um, in the beginning just to understand the structure of everything. Because the reference I'm looking at, I'm like, I'm having a hard time seeing the hair because it's so dark, it just all kind of blends together. So just a thought that occurred to me right now. But yeah. Oh, also for anyone who uses paint and they use black paint in their palette and they use ivory black. I know it's the most standard black. It's not made out of ivory anymore, but it is bone black, so it is made out of bones, charred bones. I do recommend checking out other blacks. There are a ton of other blacks that have all kinds of different properties that you might like. So don't just stick to, you know, feel free to venture out into other areas. I'm using Mars Black at the moment. I use Mars Black from Mgram. I've not used it from other brands. I've heard that some other brands are a little on the rougher side, and they can dry very matte, or they can be a little grainy. I've not had that experience with Mgram. It is a very opaque black, whereas ivory black is not the most opaque black. Um, and it is very strong. The Mgram one is a very strong black. So if you have very strong colors, it can, it can balance those out pretty well, which is useful. And there is chromatic black, which is a mixed paint, pre-mixed paint. A lot of brands have a version of that, and that is a where they mix two paints. What's it called? It's two paints that perfectly cancel each other out, and it can make for a really good mixing paint. Donley asks, Mars Black made from burnt Mars candy bars. No, no. It's actually an earth pigment or a synthetic earth pigment, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah, but that is funny. And that, by the way, people, is why you should go check out Don Lee's stream because he is funny and he comes up with all kinds of funny things on his stream when he's on mic. So go check him out on what's it called? On Twitch TV. Don Lee underscore O with three H's. You're welcome, man. Excuse me for a second. Alrighty. So, one of my favorite painters and teachers is Jennifer Balkin. I was lucky enough to take a class with her, but I had followed her before ever arriving in Austin and taking a class with her. I was lucky. I found out she's teaching here, and I was able to take a class with her. And one of the things that I love about her painting is the color work that she does in the skin. It's just amazing. And she does all these colors that maybe in the most technical stance aren't there, but what the way I interpret it, what she's doing is she's looking at things, and our eyes, as they adjust to color relation, they what's it called? Um, because color relation is all relative and our dynamic range is relative to where we're focused and so on, you can start to like see colors in areas where there might not really be that much color there. It'll be like, oh, this isn't really a violet, but it's red, and over here it's a little cooler. And so in comparison, it kind of looks more like a violet. And so you decide to put in some violet there, or a little more violet leaning than just red, stuff like that. And um, I think I mean, she's a fantastic painter, period. But I think that all adds to her paintings, and that's why I love her paintings so much. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because I am going to attempt to bring some of that in here more as I go through this. Do I have a link for Jennifer? I didn't catch the lesson. It's Jennifer Balkin. I don't have a link offhand. Balkin, I think. Balkin. Jennifer with two N's, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Thanks, Michelle. But yeah, trying to like add to this type of reference is very challenging because I still want to keep a lot of the, like I don't want to go overboard with it, but I also want to keep it interesting. So very, very challenging. Like I said, I normally spend a lot of time working on my reference, meaning like I do edit my reference. I take a lot of time to pick good reference. Uh, One of the things I heard once is if you're working from a boring photo, like why would you not expect it to be a boring painting, right? And I don't agree with that 100%, but there is an element of truth to that. Donnelly says, I like to edit my reference too. Yeah, absolutely. With you 100%. Yeah. Like I said, I know that it's not 100% true because there are ways, but the it definitely makes it easier, right? Like, you know, just because you can lift something heavy doesn't mean there aren't easier ways of picking it up, you know what I mean? Like it's not, you know. Yeah, technically it's true, but like, there are ways of making your life easier. And editing or getting good reference or both, right, is a great way of doing that. Oh, great analogy. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's a reason we invented levers to begin with, right? Like even that simple physics. So yeah, it's definitely ways of making your life harder and easier. Um, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for making your life harder sometimes. When it comes to painting, like I think there's some positives a lot of times to making it not an easy process. But it has to be the right type of difficulty. Some difficulty lends itself um, to positive outcomes. Some difficulty just makes it harder for no reason. So either they lend itself to positive outcomes or it lends itself to teaching you something, which is worthwhile as well. But, difficult for difficult's sake, mm, I don't always agree with that. If you were on Portrait Artist of the Year, would you bring something along, a tablet or phone, to take pictures of your subject, edit the picture a bit, and paint from that? I would bring a laptop and a tablet and like I'd bring all that stuff. I don't know if I would edit it though. Um, I would use like a lot of them on the show. They'll take photos and they will what's it called? They'll take photos and they'll paint from the photos and they'll have a grid on the photo, that type of thing. So I would probably bring it and use it to to get, proportions right all the time, like using my techniques to make sure I'm getting proportions correct over time, kind of thing. But I wouldn't do like actual editing um, for a few reasons. I feel like they might not quite be as like understanding or forgiving for stuff like that. Like they might be prejudiced to it in a way. Um, and also, I do think that there's a degree of like, I would want to, even though I'd paint from the photo I took, I would paint from the person a lot as well. And I would definitely be talking to the sitter if they were open to it. Donnelly says, I mean, when I say editing, I mean maybe change levels to help emphasize form. No, I wouldn't do any actual editing. Even though I would want, like, I probably would want to, I wouldn't because I don't trust them to not like have some kind of prejudice against that. Like they already have a bit of a prejudice against the tablets and the technology. They don't like disqualify people for it, but I've heard them make comments in the past. I think they've gotten over it, but yeah, I don't know. This says a lot of people use their phones, but the judges always mention it and kind of look down on the artists not painting from life, especially the young ones who don't look up from the phone. Exactly, yeah. Cassandra says, it's so interesting to watch the first couple of seasons and hear them talk about using the phone and tablet is cheating. They don't do it much now. They don't. They stopped. I know. That was back in the day when people in the crowd used to take photos with their iPads. Yeah, yeah. No, they don't do it as much, but I know that it's still back there, still in the back of their head, you know. So while I would use it as a tool for certain aspects of it, I would not edit the photo and do like stuff like that. And if they if they watched me, if they ever watched me use my my like use Photoshop to get my proportions and everything like that, if they ever saw me and like asked or talked to me about it, I would say that the reason I do that is because even though I'm like using technology to help me with that in a way, and this is true, in a way, it actually lets me be more free and it lets me be more expressive than like gridding it out. And so while it is kind of a way of getting around gridding and stuff like that, it is, I think, a way that like helps me be more present with the subject when I'm painting them and worry less about proportions. Donnelly says, gotcha, gotcha. Don't blame me if you feel it would hinder your chances. Yeah, yeah. Cinder says, nothing like painting from life. Absolutely. Like I said, I would paint. I would paint from life, but it is a competition. So I wouldn't, it's the type of thing where I'm going to use all the like tools I can to help me deal with the competition aspect of it and the time limit, you know. And also, you never know, like the sitter might not be good at staying still. Like they've had like all kinds of sitters, you know. I there are some things that would really try to avoid doing. Like sometimes you see people and they go and they take a photo from like a completely different angle, and I'm just like, okay, that you know, I mean, like I get it. You may have a really shit angle sometimes, but I don't know that. Yeah. But there's all kinds of ways to spin it that I've never heard them do. Like when the artist, I haven't heard them say things like this, but there are all kinds of ways of spinning it, right? Because you can always say like, yeah, the angle is bad, but I wanted a better angle, but I'm still looking and referencing their real skin tones from looking at them and trying to apply that to the photo. Because cameras just can't capture unique luminosity and color variations of our skin, which is true. Um, stuff like that. Like you can put spin on things too to make yourself sound better. Um, but a lot of times I don't hear artists say anything like that. Only says I've been in figure drawing classes where my seat viewpoint hindered my drawing a lot. Absolutely, that is true. But here's the other thing too. Like it's worth mentioning that on the show, when they start setting up the models, they'll ask the artists if they're good with that pose. And rarely, sometimes someone will speak up, but rarely. Usually they're just like, yeah, it's fine, and then they just go and do whatever. And it's like, no, if you're in a bad spot and they give you a bad angle and they're like, how do you feel about this? That's the time to say something. Be like, well, if you don't mind, can we look slightly more in this direction? Because right now I have nothing but a profile and I don't think that's a good angle. Or, can we shift a little or do something? Because the artists can't really shift around because they have all the camera work. Otherwise, I would say just the artist should just shift to someplace else, but they can't really do that because of all the camera gear that they have set up. Yeah. I don't know. I think it'd be really interesting to be on the show. That I will say this personally, I feel like that is a show, a competition like that. Like that type of pressure personally for art when it comes to artwork, I feel like that's the type of pressure that I would actually be okay with. Like I feel like that's the type of thing where because I actually have had this it was like a Halloween thing and I went kind of head to head with an artist friend of mine once for a competition. Um and yeah, that just brought out the like competitive side of me and I just was like going for it kind of thing. But it's definitely not for everybody. Other types of art competition shows I would not do well at. Like there was an like the next great American artist or some nonsense like that, and it was just yeah, it was a very Americanized crap show, and I don't think I would have done well at that because it was more about like the drama and like all the other nonsense and very artsy, like the stereotypical like dumb art stuff, that yeah, it all depends. Cassandra says, did you watch artists Landscape Artist of the Year. Same folks. I wasn't sure I'd like it, but I actually did. Yeah, I've watched it. I liked it. It's fun to watch. I don't always agree with their choices, that's for sure. And well, I mean, same on the portraits too. But yeah, it's fun. I have less um, my when it comes to landscapes definitely isn't as developed as my portraiture. So, it's a little harder for me. I also don't know that I would like, I don't think I could pull off landscape artist of the year. Um, if I went on landscape artist of the year, I would I would take a photo and do the whole painting from my photo reference. That's how I would handle landscape artist of the year. Because the hell with all the like, oh, the light changed, so now I have to change every. Yeah, no. I would just take a photo and just work from that. But I am not, I'm not a plein air painter. Des says landscapes are so hard for me. The thing is, I will say this, maybe this is wrong. I don't know. Um, I think theoretically, it is easier to be really good at landscapes than it is portraits. Um, and I'm not trying to take away from any landscape artists out there. I'm not as good as them, but um, if if we're comparing the two, I do think I think portraiture is harder, and for one and one reason only. Um, People are so used to looking at people that they immediately can tell when something's wrong, right? So, uh, you can show a portrait to someone and they could not be a painter at all, but they'll still look at it and be like, the something's wrong with the face. They just we inherently know. Donley says likeness. Likeness too. Likeness is also a challenge that you don't have to worry about as much. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are other challenges in landscapes, but it's just there are there are challenge. It's I don't know. I think ultimately, I think portraits are more challenging overall. Having said that, I think really the biggest challenge between the two is really what you find interesting. Because the reason I don't think I'm a good landscape painter is because I don't find landscapes all that interesting. And so it's really hard for me to get invested in it, even though I recognize how difficult and challenging it is. And even though I know that there's so many like elements that I'm literally unaware of, and that if I knew those things, it would make my life a lot easier. But I'm not nearly as interested in it. And so it's a lot harder for me. If you are interested in landscapes, that's fantastic. And I think you should, anyone who's interested in landscapes, I think you should really cultivate that. Landscapes are, my understanding, actually easier to sell than portraits. But I think if there's something you're interested in, you should cultivate it, period. Like, I don't think it really has to do anything with sales necessarily. Just paint what you're interested in. I didn't realize it got blurry. There we go. Hard for me to tell. There we go. Apparently, landscapes and still life paintings and like flower paintings are all sell really well. I didn't even know that. Donley says I was thinking about doing some landscapes to sell for that reason. Yeah. I mean, look, I will say this. Overall, I don't think artists should make art to sell. In the sense of like commissions are a little different because by its nature it is to sell. But when it comes to your own art, if you're not authentically interested in something, I feel like I worry that it will come across that you're not interested in it. And so it might not be good to do things you're not authentically interested in. That's one thing I overall like that's why I generally just I don't paint things I'm not into because of for that exact reason. Like if I'm not into it, it's not going to be authentic and it's just going to come off as like pandering and all the nuance of whatever, subject is just not going to be there, because there's so much nuance that goes into things. And if you don't know what that nuance is, it's just going to come off, I don't know, inauthentic. Only says, I don't think artists should make art to sell so I can corner the market. Yeah, you go do that, Donnelly. You're right. Go corner the market. No, I just mean I don't think they should choose the subjects to, based off of what will. Don't chase the sales in that way. Like paint what you find authentically interesting and try and sell that. That's what I really meant. I didn't do a good job explaining it in the beginning, but that's what I mean. Be authentic. And honestly, the more like nuanced and authentic you can be, I think the more likely you are to make sales ultimately. You just got to get it in front of the right people. That says, I like doing still lifes and portraits, no land, flowers, no landscapes, no. Okay. And it says, I'm chasing the combo of I am good at it, I like it, other people will buy it. So here's okay. I have a genuine so like not critique, comment, or this is what I think. And I really think this isn't like me, whatever, selling you on something. Genuinely being good at it, um, I'd say does doesn't enter into the equation. If you like it, there are other people that will like it and buy it. You just have to get it out in front of the right people. Now, the better you are at it, the wider that percentage it grows. But you could do anything, and there is a percentage of people that will like it. Literally anything. I always remember this. There was a special art exhibit I saw where an artist she sculpted uh, out of big blocks of chocolate or big blocks of butter. She made sculptures out of them using only her teeth. And here's the thing. It wasn't like, oh, can you believe this was sculpted with someone's teeth? No, it was like you look at it and you're like, did someone just eat something and leave it? Like, what's going on? This just looks like someone bought a giant thing of chocolate, snacked on it, and then just walked away. Um, so someone will buy it. If you're into it, you get it in front of the right people, someone will want it. And there's enough people in the world, literally like 8 billion people on the planet. There's enough people out there that will buy whatever you are making. Like I said, the better you are at it, the larger that percentage is. For sure. Like, I'm not trying to say don't be good at art, but as soon as you take, so you can literally just take that out of the equation, though, right? So now you can just be like, you're trying to get good and like it. And instead of other people will buy it, scratch that out and change it to, and get it out in front of as many people as possible. Because as soon as the right people see it, they'll buy it. Sandra says, LOL, nod art. Absolutely, nod art. 100%. It was the most ridiculous thing I saw, and I'm like, this is stupid. Yeah, it was in an art museum. It was an installation. Doesn't matter. Don Donley says, I'm painting only copies of Thomas Kincaid paintings and wallpapering the walls of my house with all the cash. Okay, go for it. I mean, he'll sue the shit out of you. His state will, but there is that. Michelle says, I mean, people bought my stuff and it is generally simple designs. Yeah, but your stuff's clever. It's not about that. Sandra says, LOL, my art history teacher in college would blow a gasket if you mentioned Thomas Kincaid. Jealous much? I don't think it's good art, but like, whatever. People would mention him just to derail class. That's funny. I'm not a fan of his, but like, whatever, people gonna like what they like. All right, I am gonna try and finish this up in about half an hour because I am losing steam. You got this, Liat. Everyone, quit distracting. Nah, you guys are all good. It's just practice. I don't know if it's Thomas Kincaid or who it is, but there's an artist who painted like a bunch of undersea artwork with like whales and dolphins, and it's all very colorful. I remember I went to a gallery once and saw that crap out there, and it's just like, man, this stuff, I don't know, just whatever, boring. But like, there's a whole gallery dedicated to selling that stuff, so whatever. Donley says, by the way, not to distract, but tell us the things you hate about AI and go into extreme detail with reference links. Now you're trying to derail me. Yeah, we'll see how this Kara thing goes. I hope it, takes off. That'd be cool. I got an invite to Blue Sky and then I like literally signed up for it and then never used it again. I felt bad about that. Someone gave me an invite and then I just like did not use it. Just, I don't know, it just wasn't like no one was using it. I don't know. Everyone was still on Twitter. No one like bailed. But Kara, I don't know. It's got some buzz around it right now. I just wish the servers were working better. Ditto got an invite and didn't use it. Yeah, and I feel real bad too. I forget who it was. It was someone who watched me, who was a viewer. They gave me an invite. I'm blanking on the name right now, but it was very nice of them. I really appreciate it. I wanted to use it. It's just like it just didn't like fit into my like life in any way, and so I just never used it. I think the problem was too, I don't think they actually had an app. So like if you wanted to use it on your phone, you had to like log into the website. Um, and I don't know, it was just clunky. I don't know. It was just clunky. And I am already looking forward to dinner tonight. I am hungry. Donnelly says, me too. What's for eats? We are going out for is it I don't know, is it Thai food or It's a pho restaurant, but I'm not getting pho, so I don't know. I don't know what that makes it. I have no, I'm not planning on eating pho. I'm going to get the like pho without the soup part, right? So I don't know. What does that make it? Pho adjacent? Yeah. Donley says, I like the Thai foods I've had before. Usually something with peanut sauce, really tasty. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I like peanut sauce. I found a recipe online. You can make the peanut sauce yourself. It goes really well on a lot of things. The odd ingredients, odd I say, the ingredients that aren't like as maybe as common in other um, cuisines are the rice wine vinegar, or is it just rice vinegar? I can't remember. It's like rice vinegar or rice wine vinegar. Um, and then what else? Um, Actually, I think that's the main thing. Everything else is pretty common. You know, limes. You need some lime juice, some ginger, some garlic, peanut butter, soy sauce. What else goes in it? Um, uh, some uh, some brown sugar. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty not that hard to make. Some chili if you want to make it spicy. Some chili sauce or something. Flakes, maybe. I don't remember what goes in it. I never make it spicy, so I don't know. Lonely says, "Oh, I would make it a little spicy." I would too, except for Michelle is not very good with spice, so I add spice after the fact. Yellowbird makes this really good um, uh, what's it called? Hot sauce. It's blue agave sriracha. I like it a lot. Uh, I'm a Donnelly says I'm a fan of General Tso's, and many places make it using red pepper. Yeah, add a bit more of that to amp things up. Yeah, yeah. Back to lurking. Okay, enjoy your lurk. So just to like talk about my thought process here, I don't really see a lot of these colors entirely in this area, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cool off this eye and this side of things because this is the side that's slightly in more in shadow, and his eyes are very blue and his jacket's very blue, so there's a lot of blue. So I'm trying to kind of push all the blue tones in the shadows in this area. And then as I progress towards the center and to the other side, I will try and warm everything up a bit. If anyone notices that I'm like holding my brush kind of like perpendicular to the canvas, when everything's really wet, if you load up your brush and you hold your brush like that, it can help deposit the paint when it's having a hard time coming off the brush. That is why. So my canvas is not exactly in the best position for me. Uh, I usually would want it a little higher up, have it extra low at the moment for other paintings, not for this one. So I'm actually getting a bit of a workout right now. Nope, too much other paint on that. Gotta switch back. Well, I'm almost at my time limit. Let's see if I can kind of knock out some finishing touches to take it to a finish within a reasonable amount of time. Donley says, your painting is looking great. Kind of reminds me of one of the photos you shared of yourself of the drawn together. Yeah, I know. All right, Cassandra, see you later. Yeah, the photo I got from Unsplash. So I was trying to find a photo that would be kind of reminiscent of like the type of style that of lighting that they do on Portrait Artist of the Year. You know, so not like really good lighting kind of thing. I'm down to one earbud. I know I'm near end of my time because I can hear the cats starting to gargoyle outside of my room because they want dinner. Justin isn't gargoyling. He's in my room hanging. So yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't do it as much as the other two cats do it. Also, he potentially isn't hungry because he may have eaten a paper towel or something when we weren't paying attention. Hey, camera. Good job. Mhm. All right. Uh, I feel like I'm out of time, so I'm gonna call it done as soon as I can get that light part on there. There we go. You know, it's not a perfect painting, but whatever. It is practice. I do feel like I achieved a lot of what I wanted to achieve because I definitely was able to put some style into this that is not really there present in the photo. And that, that was the main, well, that was one of the main focuses. So, yeah, I think it came out alrighty. I don't know if I'll end up finishing it or not. Like after I'm done streaming, I don't know if I'll take it to more of a finish. This isn't like a painting that has any real meaning, and I have so much other stuff to work on that good chance I probably won't even touch it. Just doing final touches while I talk and say bye and everything. I guess I should mention my workshop again. My workshop, link in the description. Not really going to say much more about it right now. I stream 3 times a week, Tuesday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday day. Next week on Sunday, we are doing Portrait Artist of the Year paint along. Join my Discord for all the materials. Um, Viewer participation is encouraged. It's a lot of fun. I hope a lot of people will participate this time. We had a few last time and it was great. I would like more, just because I think it's a lot of fun. Um, but yeah. Um, yes, Michelle. Thank you for the link. The descript. Yep. I just realized I've mutilated his nose a little. Let me fix that. I don't do raids because I'm dual streaming and that's too complicated for me. So I don't really do raids, Twitch raids or anything like that. Sorry, I messed up his nose and now I feel like I have to fix it because otherwise it just looks wrong. Uh, Ali Lure says, is that Ryan Reynolds? No, it is not Ryan Reynolds. I have no idea who it is. It's just a random model from what's it called? Um, oh, a stock image website. Oh, it's the word. But I could see it. I remember when Ryan Reynolds used to have a beard. It looks like him. Yeah, I can see it. Oh, you did it? Oh, thank you very much. Sorry, that's actually the end of the stream. I was just uh, finishing up the painting. Um, you know, the whole idea was to do it quickly. Next week we're doing Portrait Artist of the Year paint along. So if you want to participate, it's a lot of fun. Um, we're just going to pretend we're on Portrait Artist of the Year and paint along to it. I will provide materials. If you're interested, you can join me on the Discord and materials will be there. Yeah. Um, are his nostrils out of line with his lips? A bit, yeah. Although I may have messed up one of them a little bit. It's kind of hard to, yeah. You like to draw and paint? Oh, that's great. Yeah, I stream 3 times a week. Tuesday night, Thursday night, and Sunday afternoon is all Central Time. But yeah, yeah, his nose is a little messed up. His in person in the photo and in my painting. Unfortunately, like I'm just, I'm trying to limit the time. So, oh well, kind of thing. I'll have to focus on that more next time. But yeah, um, yeah. Next, there's a link to my Discord in the description, and next week we're going to be doing, like I said, Portrait Artist of the Year. I will grab screenshots of all the people from an episode and put them in there for everybody. And on Sunday we'll do a 5-hour stream. Trying to have fun and do whatever, pretend we're on the show kind of thing. Um, Zan, I mean, I think overall I got the likeness. There's definitely some things that are not perfect, like I'm noticing. Um, but that's just the way it goes. Like this, I think needs to be here, kind of thing. Um, I'll say this, it's close. It's not an exact likeness, but that's just the nature of it. I did, though, I think, achieve what one of the big things I was trying to do, which is to take, what isn't the best reference, what isn't the best lighting, and add some style to it that isn't there in the photo. Um, I can be better at likeness. It's more time to just, measure everything kind of thing. So yeah. Uh, but it's all good. Don't get me wrong, it looks really great. Hey, no worries. Like I don't take it personally or anything like that. It's all good. Um, Ali says, but you still do good. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, the goal was to really try and like get that, like I said, the style aspect of it more. So I think it took me a while. So I wasted a lot of time. But that's, like I said, that's fine. Next, it's all just for fun. And I, you don't want to paint, I don't want to paint like for speed all the time, but taking the time to do some exercises where you are painting for speed, you learn a lot too of where like you're just wasting time on under normal circumstances and where you're not. So it's a really good way of learning. Also, I hate the surface. So, another thing that I'm like, next time, I'm not going to be painting on this surface. But that's, all good. Ty would say such yummy paint. Yeah, yeah, I definitely went a lot thicker on it today. Let me see if I can, um, I can zoom in a little here. I'll have to do it the old-fashioned way, but 1 second, that's the wrong thing. Here we go. Do it the old-fashioned way, but you know, definitely went thick with some of the paint. Um, but I do like that. So it's um, it's nice to incorporate that at an earlier stage rather than like at the very, well, I guess it was kind of at the end, but it was so quick that it doesn't feel like this whole like production of it kind of thing. So yeah, anyways, thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, and hope to see you next Sunday for Portrait Artist of the Year Paint Along. And like I said, Tuesday night, Thursday night as well, and on Kara and in the Discord, all those things. And I do have a no fear painting workshop if you want to learn how to paint like this, like and get feedback and everything. 4-week workshop happening June 20th. 22nd, June 22nd. Anyway, have a good night. Have a great rest of your weekend. I will, Don Lee. I'll tell him.